Yes.
Ok, merci Lorenzo pour ta question.
Thank you, Lorenzo, for this question. Yes, we are aware of the letter that the Treasury has sent to 3 member states plus the UK as to the US's commitment to having international talks within the OECD. We would just want to encourage the US to come back to the negotiating table. As you know, fair taxation of the web economy is a number 1 priority of the European Union. We need to ensure that all undertakings, including the web companies, pay their taxes where they're due. It is particularly important today, considering the current situation with the coronavirus. To reply to your specific question, we continue to support a very ambitious global approach to web taxation, and we are willing to also come up with a European proposal if the OECD discussions were to fail. Thank you. Or if they're not conclusive. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
You may have had a question on the same issue. Press speak.
Allô? Bonjour Eric.
Bonjour.
Hi Eric. In January, Mr. Hogan said that the Commission would be behind France in the event that the US imposed customs, and that the Commission would be ready to take reprisals. Is this still the case? Is the Commission still behind France in the event of a customs war? Given that Hogan is interested in the role at the WHO, is he still the counterpart for Robert Leiderhard? Isn't there a conflict of interest there? I don't know if I've understood your question properly. You talk about reprisals concerning what? On the digital tax that the US announced yesterday, and that they wouldn't take part in the OECD discussions, but that they would be imposing customs and duties on France and other member states. I've just heard, well, you've just heard what Dan said. We are still in the discussion phase on this process. So it's far too early to begin to envisage anything else. We're not going to respond to comments, as you know. So for the time being, we're going to focus on the discussions in the OECD, and we want to reach an agreement in this context. Regarding your questions concerning Mr. Hogan, I believe that was answered on Tuesday, and I don't have anything to add on that point. Mr. Hogan is still the European Union's commissioner. He's very much committed to his files. Nothing has changed in that respect at all. So he is still the counterpart for Mr. Robert Lighthizer. I've just answered that, yes. I didn't understand your answer. Is he the contact point for Mr. Lighthizer at the Commission? Yes, he is the Trade Commissioner, and a mechanism is in place. The 4 Eyes principle is now being applied, and we have Dos Broskis, who is the partner in that. But I think there's a very clear conflict of interest here. The US want to impose customs, and yet Mr. Hogan is applying for the job at the WHO. Jakob, that's your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, absolutely. But when it comes to the European Commission, it has closely analysed the situation. The Commission has only said that he is considering the possibility of applying for that post. He hasn't taken any decision as yet as whether he will apply. And the Commission will keep him in until that point. In his role as a Trade Commissioner, he is working on his files in cooperation and under the supervision of Vice President Dombrovskis, who he reports to generally anyway. And this is all obviously in the context of trade policy. Thank you. I just see one hand raised now. Georgi.